Do you ever feel like no matter how much you tidy up, your home just resets itself back to chaos? I used to wake up every morning and wonder how things got messy again, even though I spent the night before cleaning. Eventually, I realized it's not about how often you clean. It's about the small habits you repeat without thinking. In this video, I'm sharing 12 simple habits that help you keep your home calm, clean, and clutter-free without needing a rigid cleaning routine. These are things we've built into our everyday life in a home with 3 people, busy schedules, and 0 time for deep cleans. If you want your space to stay tidy with less effort, not more, these shifts might just be what you need. And habit 1 is something I wish I'd started doing years ago. Let's dive in. Habit 1 is open the curtains and make the bed after waking up. There was a stretch of time when every morning just felt off. Not because anything huge was wrong, but the little things piled up, the house felt messy. My head felt foggy, and the day seemed to pull me into chaos before I even had a chance to begin. I tried all sorts of things, writing to-do lists, putting on music to boost my mood, even telling myself to be more positive. But none of it really worked. Until I did one simple thing, I started opening the curtains and making the bed right after getting up. Not because I'm naturally disciplined, but because I needed something, anything that had a clear start and end. Just letting the daylight in, straightening the blanket, fluffing the pillows. Not perfect, just tidy. And somehow when the room looked lighter, my mind felt lighter too. Like, okay, things aren't perfect, but I'm not starting the day in a mess. What surprised me was it changed the tone of the whole day. When I begin with something small and finished, it's easier to keep momentum. I don't feel like I'm chasing the day, I'm shaping it. In the next video, we'll take it a step further, learning about the systems that tie everything together. Not just what you do in the moment, but how your home operates beneath the surface. If habits are baby steps, then systems are the path. And when you have a few simple systems in place, even small ones, your home and your life will start to feel a lot easier. Subscribe so you don't miss out. Geov, come back for today's content. Habit 2 is use the waiting moments to clean. For a long time, I thought I needed a lot of time to clean my kitchen. What if I didn't have 20 minutes? I'd leave the dishes there, leave the breadcrumbs there, tell myself I'd do it later, and of course, it always felt harder afterward. The habit I accidentally developed was this. Whenever I had a few seconds to spare in the kitchen, I started using them. Waiting for water to boil, I'd wipe down the countertop, microwave running, wash a few dishes, waiting for toast to pop, put away 2 clean cups, not a complete clean, just 1 or 2 small actions, but they add up. Now, instead of having to clean everything in my kitchen all at once, which I dreaded, I was cleaning up the space little by little all day long. And the best part, when I actually have to cook, I start with a clean space. This makes me less irritable, less distracted. And when I see how these small changes help my kitchen, I start looking for other similar small moments in other parts of the house. Now move on to the next habit to find out more about it. Habit 3 is give the random stuff a temporary home. Once I started noticing how often I could clean in tiny pockets of time, I also noticed something else. There are always a few items that don't belong anywhere. Things you don't want to put away just yet, like a borrowed book, a package, to return a toy missing its lid, or something you're still deciding whether to keep. Before I'd let them sit wherever they landed, the counter, the stairs, the table. It didn't seem like much, but that random clutter added a kind of mental weight. Like every surface was reminding me I had unfinished business. So I started keeping one medium-sized basket in a high-traffic area of the house. Just one. That became the not now spot, not a junk pile, not a place to forget things. Just a temporary holding zone until I had time to deal with them properly. It made a huge difference. The clutter didn't disappear, but it was organized and the house looked cleaner. Now let's move on to the next habit. Habit 4 is wipe things immediately after use. There are small stains like grease splattered around the kitchen toothpaste in the sink or water on the table that you think just need to clean later. But the truth is, if you leave them for a long time, they will dry harden and take 3 times more effort to clean. The habit I still maintain is very simple wipe immediately after use. No need to rub hard, just a damp cloth right after cooking, brushing teeth, or eating. Because stains are easier to clean when they first appear. It only takes a few seconds. But the results are truly amazing. No more "this house is always dirty" feeling, less scrubbing and thorough cleaning afterward. And when you walk into the kitchen or bathroom, you'll feel better as if the space is being cared for, not neglected. Not only does this save you time, but it also helps you avoid the buildup of dirt. Now let's move on to the next habit. Habit 5 is tidy up before bed. Some mornings I step out of my room and feel like I'm already behind. The table still has yesterday's glass. The blanket's still on the couch. A few things are scattered across the floor. It's not a huge mess, but it sets a tone like the house is reminding me I didn't finish something. And I start the day with that weight already on me. What helps is a habit I've stuck with: a quick reset before bed. Not deep cleaning, just light tidying. Pick up what's out of place. Fold the blanket, drop a few things in the basket. If I'm too tired, I'll just set a 5-minute timer and stop when it goes off. It's simple, but it changes how the next day begins. Because when I wake up to a space that looks like it's been cared for, I don't feel like I'm stepping into a mess. I feel like I'm stepping into a fresh start. Now let's move on to the next habit. Habit 6 is put a hanger away. You know that moment when you change clothes and instead of hanging them up, you throw them on a chair or the end of the bed. I used to do this all the time because the hanger was in the closet. And in that brief moment of opening the closet, opening the door, finding the right hanger and pulling it out, it felt like too many steps. What helped was this. Whenever I knew I was about to try on clothes or get dressed for bed, I took a hanger and left it somewhere visible. On the bed, on a chair, on a doorknob, anywhere I could see it. So as soon as I got dressed, it was there. Just put the shirt on and you were done. No extra steps, no decisions, no struggles. And honestly, it worked. A lot less clothes lying around, a lot less I'll do it later piles. The easier it is to put away, the more likely you are to actually do it. Now let's move on to the next habit. Habit 7 is take out the trash when you see it. There's a small spot in the kitchen that if you ignore it will make the entire sink look dirty, the strainer under the sink. Just a few leftover pieces of vegetables, a bit of leftover rice or coffee grounds, and the sink will immediately lose its clean feel. The water will stagnate, the smell will rise, and you'll want to avoid it. In the past, I used to let the basket fill up before emptying it. I thought I'll clean it up later when I have time. But that later often becomes a whole day. And by the time I empty it, the trash is already soggy that it makes me shudder to touch it. The simple solution when you see trash, just empty it. No need to wait until it's full. Just see a few pieces of food and take it out right away. It takes exactly 3 seconds. No smell, no stickiness. And most importantly, the sink is always clean to the eye and clean to the touch, even if you haven't finished washing the dishes. Small thing, but if left for long, it will become something that makes the kitchen messy without you knowing why. Let's move on to the next habit. Number 8. The clothes that only look good if you iron them dry, clean them, or baby them every time you wear them. I once bought this beautiful linen jacket. It looked effortless on the website, crisp, natural, stylish. But in real life, the collar always flipped up, the fabric wrinkled in 5 minutes, and I don't even own an iron. So guess what happened? I stopped wearing it. Not because I didn't like it, but because every time I looked at it, I thought, ugh, too much work. Here's the thing, if caring for a piece of clothing feels like another chore, it's not worth the space. Try this quick check. Is there anything in your closet you avoid just because you don't want to deal with it? If yes, it might be time to pass it on to someone who does own an iron and doesn't mind using it. Let your clothes match the real way you live. Habit 9 is put things back after the first use. There's a kind of clutter that silently accumulates, like a pair of scissors left on the table, a lotion bottle sitting out by the sink, a pen that never made it back to the drawer. Each item seems harmless on its own, but together they start to make the house feel unfinished, like everything is slightly out of place. I used to tell myself, I'll put it away later. But later often meant hours or days, and by then 5 or 6 small items had turned into a mess I didn't want to face. Eventually, a simple habit helped. Every time I used something I was done with, I put it away. It takes a few extra seconds, but it makes a huge difference. No more clutter everywhere, just a clean, uncluttered space. Now let's move on to the last habit. Habit 10 is keep an outbox for things leaving the house. You know that pile by the door, the bag of returns, the gift for a friend, the shoes you've been meaning to donate. It doesn't seem like much, but it's quietly telling your brain you've got unfinished business. For the longest time, those items just floated around our house. They weren't trash, they weren't clutter, they were just stuck. Waiting for the right moment to leave, but never actually going anywhere. Helpful habit is to put an outbox near the door. One basket, nothing fancy, where anything that's leaving the house gets placed. A library book or return something to drop off with my sister. Now when I head out, I glance at the outbox. If I can take something with me, I do. If not, it waits there, not bothering anyone. No more guilt piles. No more circling the house trying to remember where I left the package. It's such a small shift, but it makes the day and the house feel lighter. And we've looked at 10 small habits that make a big difference. You don't need to become a different person to keep your home more peaceful. You just need a few habits that fit into your life. If just one of these habits catches your eye, try it today. Not all 10, just one. See how it feels, and if it works, build from there. In the next video, we'll take it one step further, learning about the systems that connect everything together. Not just what you do in the moment, but how your home operates beneath the surface. If habits are small steps, then systems are the path. And when you have a few simple systems in place, even small ones, your home and life will start to feel a lot easier. Subscribe so you don't miss out. See you in the next video.